I was not prepared to feel this melancholic, this bittersweet about being correct. But as of this morning, the news finally hit. Rain, after a decade of service with FaZe Clan, is heading to the bench to make room for Twistzz. One of Counter-Strike's most beloved players and one of the most unique career paths in the history of esports. It's tough for me to even imagine a FaZe Clan taking the stage without Rain at the helm, but that's the reality that lies before us. Will this move be the panacea that FaZe Clan need to right the wrongs they've been dealing with for the last couple of years? And then an open-ended question at the very end. What might be next for Rain? Is this really the end? Or is this just the beginning of a new chapter? Let's go ahead and explore all of it. If you guys enjoy this kind of breaking news coverage, you can show me by leaving a like, leave a comment down below, subscribe to the channel already. How many 10K subs by the end of the year? Also, follow me on TwittzTV/LionHeartZ2. Before we get started, I would like to thank today's sponsor. This video is sponsored by Melgeek, who were cool enough to send me their Made 68 Ultra keyboard for review. I am not super well versed on high-end keyboards, so I didn't know what to expect, but what I got was a sleek, well-built board featuring magnetic switches with custom actuation points for the fastest response times. It's also fully hot swappable if you want to put your own switches in after the fact, and it all comes in this fully aluminum case that makes it easy to clean and easier on the eyes. I've been playing on stream with this keyboard for the last week, and I was really impressed with how well rapid trigger switches felt, as it was my first time using them, and configuring the board to my liking couldn't have been easier through Melgeek's browser-based config. No clunky applications running in the background, just go to hive.melgeek.com and mess with your settings to your heart's content. For me, it's been an ongoing experiment to find the right actuation point for rapid trigger on my strafe keys. As someone who plays a ton of Counter-Strike every day, I've been very impressed with this keyboard and highly recommend it if you're looking to step into the world of premium peripherals. And the best part, thanks to Melgeek, you can use my code LIONS10 for $10 off your order. Go to melgeek.com or check the link in the description below and let me know if you decide to make a purchase. And once again, thank you to Melgeek for sponsoring this video. Alright, let's start from the top and take a look at all the Twitter posts. First off, from FaZe, the send-off for Rain was pretty nice. He had a farewell video that was about 4.5 minutes, it was very good, as well as the main post reading, after 3,541 days on our CS roster, we have made the very difficult decision to move Rain to the bench. Pavard remains a world-class player and his career is far from over. We are so grateful for the memories we made together, and you will always be a legend in our FaZe family. And obviously, I don't need to tell you guys just that this is just true. Rain has been there for goddamn ever. He won 19 trophies, 4 MVPs, 1 major, 1 Grand Slam, Cologne, Katowice. He did damn near everything you could hope to accomplish in a career, while remaining pretty much the glue that held so many iterations of FaZe together. He was always the guy that could fill whatever role was needed. He was one of the most consistent playoff performers. He was just a rock. There's no better way to put it. When shit got rough, you looked to Rain and he would find the even path forward. Obviously, the most interesting part about this is the insinuation that Rain isn't retiring, as myself and many other people speculated. I really had hoped that this would have been the end for Rain, as I don't know what else he can really offer to a top team as a player, but if we look over to his own Twitter post, we kind of see there might be a path forward. Now, I'm not going to read the whole thing because it's 3 whole paragraphs, and I don't want to waste too much of your time. We'll focus on just the last little bit. My journey in CS2 is far from over. I'm not retiring. I will keep competing and growing as a player. I'm open to offers for any role, and while stepping into the IGL role would be a new challenge for me, it's one I'm eager to embrace. No matter the position, I will bring the same dedication, passion, and drive that has fueled me for all these years. I'm ready for the next challenge. So there it is in plain text. The Rain IGL path could be before us. Now, the interesting part is that Rain IGL is not necessarily a new idea, but by all accounts, Rain has never been willing to embrace that role up until, well, right now. Can Rain turn around and be a good IGL? I think it's certainly possible. He has one of the best minds for the game we've seen, but making that transition from being able to call around yourself to calling for a team, as many of us know, is not easy. Just look no further than examples like Nico in FaZe and Twistzz in Liquid. Making this jump to being an IGL is a rough transition. It took Apex so many years before he became one of the best IGLs in the world, and many other players like him never make it that far. Which of course brings us to an immediate point of contention. If the current iteration of FaZe has Rain, who is a better player than Karrigan and willing to be an IGL, why wouldn't you take the risk on Rain versus Karrigan? Karrigan, as we know, is one of the worst players in all of Tier 1, he is one of the worst performing players in all of World Counter-Strike. This is self-evident. We know that Karrigan is essentially a traffic cone. So you have the choice between him and Rain, who is a serviceable player. Why not go with him? And a lot of people, I would say casuals, are calling for this exact move. Why not take the risk on Rain over Karrigan? Well, I hate to be the bearer of bad news. It's because becoming an IGL is fucking hard, guys. And I don't know what to tell you. The idea that Karrigan is somehow a bad in-game leader is just a casual take. He is still one of the best callers in the world. He still does all of the IGL things you would expect of him and more. Keep in mind that an IGL is more than just calling strats in the server. Karrigan is a leader. He is the guy who does the vetoes. He does a lot of the studying. He does so much more beyond the server that you simply can't quantify into a rating 3.0 number. And I'm sorry, when it comes down to minds for the game, there is no question that Karrigan is the superior mind for Counter-Strike than Rain. The only means in which this would be acceptable for them to go with Rain as the leader is on the proviso that Karrigan retired tomorrow and became the coach, and sort of became the mentor for Rain as the IGL immediately. If it was Rain and Neo running the show, FaZe would go nowhere, and they would go nowhere fast. I firmly believe that. The reality is, FaZe have been at a crossroads for a little while. Both Rain and Karrigan aren't producing at the same amount that they would in years past. And with the fact that both of these players take up the majority of the opening attempts on their T sides, you could not have a team that did well with both of them at the helm anymore, many people, myself included, believed. So all of those factors culminate in an environment that it makes the most sense for Rain to be the one leading the team. So looking ahead, how do FaZe find winning Counter-Strike in 2025? Well, the good thing is, Twistzz is a chameleon. He's essentially a player that can do a little bit of everything. Except be an IGL. Okay, fine. I said it. I had to get out of the way. Twistzz can't be an IGL. All right, that's the only thing he can't do. And probably opping. But other than that edge case, Twistzz is essentially a player you can fit into most roles. He can anchor, he can lurk, he can entry, he can be the second man in. He'll do whatever the fuck you need to with a rifle in his hands, and his skills are still elite. And considering what FaZe have to work with, he's probably walking in to become their new best player. So how do we reshuffle the deck? Well, I think in an ideal world, Jacob is going to have to take up more of the entry duty that Rain is leaving behind, and on top of that, Twistzz will have to step in and do some as well. You see, FaZe are a unique team where pretty much everybody takes a fair amount of entries. Everybody on the team hovers around 20% other than Brokey, so Twistzz is going to have to step in and do around 20% of the entry work as well. And whether that's going to look like where him and Frozen are alternating who's going to be the lurker or not, kind of remains to be seen. The thing that this move helps out the most is probably the CT side roles, because Rain was playing a lot of very important anchor positions that Twistzz can definitely play, and he'll probably play better. I'm talking about spots like B side on Dust 2, A side on Mirage, playing in the pit on Inferno. All of these very key spots that I think Twistzz is going to do very well in. And worst case scenario, you could switch up some of the roles where maybe Frozen takes up some of these spots too if Twistzz wants other places on the map. Like there could be a world on Dust 2, for example, where Frozen shifts into the main B anchor, and then Twistzz can play sort of the donk kind of rotator, cover the map role. There's probably no getting around this though. If there's one map that gets worse for FaZe, it's going to be Nuke. And that just boils down to the fact that Rain is one of the two best riflers to ever play outside Nuke, the other being Nico, and replacing that output is not going to be easy. It was one of the few maps that Rain remained very elite on even through this period of time. So big picture, does this fix all of FaZe Clan's issues? And this may surprise you to hear, but probably not. Jacob is still a huge question mark. Brokey is a player who is getting better than what he was earlier in the year, but ultimately he's nowhere near like a top 5 opera in the world situation. And again, as much as I believe that Karrigan is the better choice than Rain in terms of IGLs currently, it's undeniable that we're at the end of whatever Karrigan's illustrious career could be. So what's like the best possible outcome here? Well, we get a little bit of FaZe magic, maybe a cool playoff run or two. They play some good games, but overall, they hover as like an 8th or 9th best team in the world. Twistzz manages to maneuver himself back into a top 20 player in the world discussion. Brokey shows that there's more in the tank, and maybe in the best case scenario, Jacob stands out as a rookie worth investing in. Regardless, this still leaves FaZe far away from a title contending discussion. I don't see them winning a trophy anytime soon, and frankly, I don't think that would have changed whether you kept Rain or Karrigan in this situation. Really, the legacy of FaZe Clan at this point for this last couple of years is going to be a succession of what ifs. What if they had managed to keep Rops? What if they had managed to keep Bubblesj? What if they had managed to get Simple when they were trying to after the Austin Major? And now we have to ask the question, what would this team look like if Bubblesj took Jacob's spot right now? FaZe is unfortunately just a team in flux. That's the reality of the situation. So we'll see how things develop. I'm curious to see what the next step is for Rain. I already saw Thorn make this joke on Twitter, but I don't really think it's that big of a joke. Why not Rain to BC game? Let Rain be an IGL there with Simple. That's probably better than Nexa. Like, I'm just gonna call that what it is. That'd be fire. That would be really sick to see. But who knows? We'll get to see that new look FaZe soon at ESO Pro League. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this content, show me leaving a like, leave a comment down below, subscribe to the channel, right? How many take us by the end of the year? Thank you to MelGeek for sponsoring this video. You can check the link in the description or in the pinned comment. You go to their website, you browse any of their premium keyboards, decide to make a purchase. You can use my code LIONS10 for $10 off. Thank you to MelGeek. Shout out to my channel members, Jesse Furley, Milan Berta, Bubblesj, Dr. Cocktor, Patatas Kaftesi, PTR, B1Games, Cody Foxworthy, JesseTiv, Vegt, I'm Flashmix, Snowy White, Rowdy, LBKcs, Snax Enjoyer, zerotwocs, drudenae, chron, Gano, Zyro, Devvrat Singh, and Clyde Mead. If you want to become a channel member, you just the link to the down below. Bye.